The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
It is a Talkin' Tuesday edition of Talkin' Cowboys, presented by Tostitos, helping fans get in on the game. And the official chip and dip, or the favorite chip and dip. Oh, wait, the favorite chip and the favorite dip of Talkin' Cowboys.
Let me get my air carbs in today.
Sorry,
air carbs.
My bad. I gotta remember not to just fly through that. I gotta make sure and get the chip and get the dip, just like we always have here on Talkin' Cowboys, and just like we have been for the last couple of years. We've got Rob P. Island back in the building, home safe from Washington. Welcome back, sir.
Good to be. Whoa, gosh, good to be here.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
We've got Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Chris Beam, as always. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Rob, what was it like getting back for you yesterday? Was it just a hassle, or was it what happened there?
Oh, we missed our flight Sunday night.
Why was that?
Just keep it simple.
We were trying to catch a flight out of Baltimore after the game.
Okay.
And we almost made it. But, that game lasted a little longer than we'd hoped. I was hoping they could just run the clock out, hand it to Zeke like 40 times, and get out of there. Didn't happen. Got a new flight. Props to our travel staff. Tiffany did a great job. She's
awesome.
Yeah, she's fantastic. But it was funny because we were talking about that in studio. It's like, man, this game has taken forever. Even before the fourth quarter, you were talking about there are 12 minutes left in this game. This is nuts. Why is this taking so long? And then it got into the final parts of the fourth quarter where there was an actual comeback and there was actually a game.
It was dragged on. No
made
Rough
it
Riders.
tough. So
no Rough Riders.
Yeah. No,
we got fights breaking out. Things happen.
It's a rivalry.
Yeah. Wasn't a clean 3-hour game. That's okay.
Not at all. And we're going to talk
that.
about it today.
It was a rough ride, no drag on. That's bars right there, dog. I like that.
Isaiah comes in dropping bars.
I was like,
come on, man.
oh,
okay.
Hi.
Heckma just gave him a stank face in a good way. Good way.
stuff.
But everybody doing all right today?
Peachy, bro.
Peachy? We get to talk to Cowboys Nation again today. Always one of our favorite days.
Did we win? Did we win?
We won the game.
How's Cowboy Nation going to feel is my question.
All right, so up and down right now. I'm really trying to figure out.
Do you think it's going to be more negative or more positive?
I'm waiting
on the
to
phone
see.
calls?
I really am waiting to see this.
I want to see after we have this news from Rob P.
Oh, we'll get to news and notes, but I want to hear, do you think it's going to be positive or negative?
I think it really depends on Rob P.
It's coming from me. It's probably negative,
it's gonna
right?
be. Yeah, I mean, with your Twitter notifications, it does get a little negative. So let's go ahead and jump into it. News and notes. Rob Phillips, what's going on? What did we learn yesterday?
Cedric Wilson's got COVID.
Oh,
That sucks.
Unfortunately, he tested positive. Got a chance to be back this week, I guess, if he tests negative and all that twice in a 24-hour period. Doesn't have symptoms. So we'll see there. And Tyron Smith will not play against the Giants at left tackle. So, it's just plugging holes on the ship, man.
So they did an MRI yesterday. They said everything looked good. Obviously, it's the same ankle that he's been dealing with the issues on. So it's just worse than what was already bad. I'm trying to figure out where this
bone
thing
spur, man. That bone spur doesn't go away.
Is that what it is, or was it the
high
sprain?
sprain? Yeah. Which is it?
I think it's both. I think he had the high ankle, and I think those spurs, like you've been saying, they don't go away. So, but it looked like he got rolled up on, right?
Yeah,
it was
with bad.
McGovern.
Yeah. Now walking, he looked like he was walking okay post game afterwards. So, and Jerry was on the fan just now, and it didn't sound like they're concerned about him, moving forward into the postseason, assuming they can get there. I don't know how long this is going to last. Certainly this week he will not play, and he indicated that Terrence Steele will be your starting left tackle on Sunday.
I already gave that information up. So no sense to talk about Nzeki.
Yeah,
there you go. Who do you replace him with?
Well, Jerry will let you know right away.
And it's interesting because they started with Nzeki, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if that had to do with, hey, Terrence Steele had COVID, coming off the COVID list. Let's not throw too much at him his first week back, and then when Lyle went down, they had no choice but to go with both backups.
Now, I thought Lyle went down prior to. He went down. He left the game.
Ejected.
Yeah, he left the game at one point, and Terrence Steele came in at right tackle.
He did?
Yes, early in the game, and then at left tackle, when Tyron went down, it was automatically 79. 78 was on the other side. So at some point,
Tyron happened after Lyle's ejection. Is that what you're saying?
Chris Beam, fact check it.
We're going to have to go back and look at it.
Either way. I mean, yeah.
I want to say before the ejection, there was a time where 79 was at the left tackle and Ty Nseki, and then you had Terrence Steele at the right tackle. But I'm going to have to go back and look at it. I didn't chart it or anything. So,
well, that would have been interesting, obviously, if Tyron Smith goes down, and instead of coming off with Steele, they come off with Nseki, and then, in the other order. So I don't know. I guess that does bring an interesting wrinkle.
But it could come up if there is some discipline handed down by the NFL. Now, I don't think the Cowboys believe the NFL is going to bring down any sort of discipline on Lyle Collins, right? They don't anticipate it, or maybe it's just up in the air?
According to NFL Network, he will not be suspended.
Okay.
Now, I want to say NFL Network reported Tristan Hill wouldn't be suspended either for the Raiders punch, and it turned out he was. But no, I mean, I think this is a little different. I don't know. I only caught like 10 minutes of the show driving home yesterday.
That's okay.
But I don't know how much y'all touched on. But this was different. This is in the field of play. Things get heated. I think the thing that got Tristan Hill was he waited for Simpson after the game, midfield, bike racks.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, like 3 o'clock bike racks, and that's what got him suspended.
Hey, he was about that life.
Yeah.
And it was outside of the field of play. No whistles were being blown. There's not supposed to be any physicality, whereas the heat of the moment really kind of was what was Lyle Collins'
do you
deal.
respect more?
Both.
Do you?
Tristan or Lyle?
Yeah.
Lyle for sure, but
Based off of what happened or didn't happen last year?
Yeah. Yeah. Why? What do you think? You think Tristan Hill was warranted?
Tristan about that life. Obviously.
That's
you
fair.
You got some goons on your team.
I appreciate the fire, but I don't know if I appreciate the waiting for him at the logo.
I respect
Stranger
him.
things have happened.
I respect him for it.
I love that Isaiah feels that way because he told us last week, he's like, I don't let things go easy. So Tristan didn't let it go easy.
Hey, Tristan was like, you got to see me about this.
Right.
You're going to have to answer for what you have
Absolutely.
done. Okay, it's kind of speaking on the same topic of offensive line. We've talked about the left tackle, and we at least know that it is Terrence Steele this week, and we'll talk about that in our previews later in the week. But there also was an alluded to a change with Stephen Jones on the Fan yesterday, talking about how basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but the door is open for the coaches to have a conversation and to make a decision on whether or not Connor McGovern or Conor Williams is the best player to play and start and play the majority of the snaps at left guard. So I want to open that same conversation up here. If Talkin Cowboys was the coaching staff, and we're sitting around a room and we've got the projectors up on the screen and we're pointing at the film based off of what all of us have seen to this point, who would you want as the starter at left guard? Connor McGovern or Conor Williams?
Yeah, I think we talked about it so much, just seeing Conor Williams get abused, I mean, and just losing battles, that we thought that McGovern would be better for the left guard position. And honestly, we hadn't seen anything different. I've seen McGovern be in situations where he's getting owned as well. So at this point, it's like, it's open competition. I mean, throw a stick in the room, whichever guy comes out is the winner. So it's just really at this point trying to figure out where the balance is, because I think defenses has figured out where the weakness is in our offensive line. And you saw Daron Payne. You go back and watch that Washington football, man, Daron Payne was just giving McGovern and Biotish the business in the middle of the field. And Jonathan Allen obviously didn't play the majority of snaps that he would have. But even Jonathan Allen was all of the pressure that we were encountering was coming from the middle of the field. So it's definitely something to look at.
Neville Gallimore.
Yeah? You want to throw Neville Gallimore at the left guard spot?
I mean, we saw the physicality from him.
That's true. He's got some strength.
I'm with Heckman on this one.
Parsons at running back. And
you threw me completely off.
I'm serious on that one. I want Parsons at running back. I want that to happen.
No.
Check the mailbag this morning on the website.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
That was a question from a fan.
Nice.
No, I mean, I'm with you, Heck. It doesn't matter at this point. I mean, I think you gave the other guy a chance, McGovern, and, he didn't show that he was much better. So, it doesn't matter which Conor bro you go with at this point in time. I think that they're still going to be the weak link on this offensive line. And as a defensive coordinator, you are excited about that because you can pinpoint where they're weak at. And if you can find a weak link, then you can find a seam.
So let me just throw it this way to you real quickly, since you are going to ride a fence like that. Conor Williams, in terms of holding penalties, way more than Connor McGovern. The holding penalties are down since McGovern took over. However, Connor McGovern has given up 7 pressures over the last 2 games. I'm not going to tell you how many sacks he's given up, but 7 pressures against the Washington football team and against New Orleans. That's in wins. Yeah, which one would you rather go with?
You can make him stop holding.
You can teach Williams to not hold.
You can fine him for every hold he has.
Oh.
I mean, there's a whole lot of ways you can stop somebody from creating penalties. The coaches have a lot of power inside this building, so you can start handing down fines for every time you have a holding penalty. He'll stop real quick in a hurry.
Have you been on a team that's done that before?
I've been on a team that's fined you for being late to meetings, for not executing assignments. Absolutely.
Is that a team in the New England area? Maybe?
You never know. You can't stop somebody from getting beat. Right, and I guess you could say that holding is a product of getting beat as well. That's why I say it doesn't really matter which Conor bro you go with. So it's really a toss-up. I mean, the teams are going to highlight that part of the Conor bro. Doesn't matter which one. Be honest, the least veteran player on this offensive line. I'm going right at those 2 individuals.
I would make the switch, and it's not. The problems they're having are not just Conor McGovern. Let me just say that. I think he's a good young player. He's got a lot of talent. They've told us that he's probably, at this point in his career, more comfortable at right guard than he is left guard. And they decided to make that switch because they were so concerned about these penalties. And they felt like, I think they felt like the refs are looking for it because of what has been on tape. And I think maybe they sacrificed overall production at that position to do that. I think at this point, Conor Williams is a more experienced, better left guard. And over the entire course of the snaps, I don't think he's been that bad of a blocker this year. And I think the running game probably is better in terms of his agility and ability to pull and get things going on the outside and get some of those edge runs going. I would look at making that switch. I don't know if they will.
When you say a better blocker, are you saying Williams or McGovern? You said Conor. I didn't know.
Oh, sorry. I think Williams is a better.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's more equipped to do it right now, personally. But the penalties were why he got sat down, and that will have to be cleaned up if he's back in the lineup.
In the 9 games that Conor Williams started, he gave up a total of 10 pressures. We just mentioned 7 over the last 2 for Conor McGovern. He's given up 12 over the 4 games he started. So it's a significant number of pressures, more so on a bigger basis with McGovern. However, penalties, Conor McGovern has only allowed 2 penalties, been called for 2 penalties, and Conor Williams had 13 all year long.
He was on a historic pace, as far as his penalties were concerned. But, you see, if you go back just to the Kansas City game, the amount of pressure that Dak is getting right up in his face. This game, he was sacked 4 times, pressured 10. It's a lot going on. And we talk about what's wrong with Dak. What's happening with Dak. Dak can't find any rhythm. It's really hard to find that rhythm a lot of times, man, when you got guys falling around you, in your face, grabbing on you. And so you go back to the Washington game, he was not in a clean pocket a lot of times.
You're right. When I watched it back, I thought the protection was a little better. I don't know about that. I thought there were times where he had a clean pocket or cleanish pocket and he missed throws. But overall it wasn't clean.
But usually with Dak Prescott, you're able to navigate through the muck. You're able to navigate through a not so clean pocket, but how much does that limit him in what he's able to do as a quarterback?
It's just, let me ask you this. You've seen quarterbacks come into the league that become punch drunk. They get hit too many times. And when they get hit too many times, exactly. And so when you look at Dak, are you thinking just from this 6-game sample size? We were talking about from the beginning where his QBR was this, and now with this period, period where we're seeing him decline. Are you thinking that the pressure has anything to do with, are you fully saying mechanics and he's just off?
I just think he's off.
Okay.
I just think he's off. You start talking about quarterbacks being under pressure. There's a whole lot of quarterbacks that don't have a lot of great protection up front. Going back to my guy in Seattle, he just hasn't had a lot of help on the offensive line either. But he still has to stand in there and throw the ball or buy time, get outside the pocket, use your skill set to create some time. I just think that Dak's just been off, and I mean that's just the reality. That's it. I mean, it's sucks to say, but that's it.
I would rather that be the answer than the punch drunk side of things.
Yeah, I mean, because as much as we want Dak to be playing amazingly well and all that, how do you think Heineke played?
Oh, he was awful.
He was trash.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Heineke had 3 less.
He was 11
QBR. His QBR rating was 3 points less than Dak's.
He had a 0 passer rating until the second half, I think.
That's bad.
But I'm saying, so as bad as we think Heineke played, he literally was right there neck and neck with Dak when we start looking at statistics, right? In that regard. So that's how we have to look.
You make me sick.
Bruh.
You make me sick. You are the one guy that takes statistics off the table.
I know you guys value them. I know you guys value them. I know you guys value them.
How you go?
Rob P, am I lying?
I thought the
it was 58 versus 55.
When he said, we look at the stats, I was like,
it was 58 versus 55. I know you guys relate to the stats.
The touchdown saved him because I mean,
this was the BFF conversation we were having.
Here you go.
He got beat to hell in that game too. That was a big part.
Yeah, he did.
They both did. They both got beat up in that game.
My thing is that I think what was hard for me is all of the Dak hate. It was hard for me to kind of understand where it's coming from. One of the things that I would never confuse Dak with Aaron Rodgers.
Different conversation.
Different conversation, different quarterback. I just think everything about Aaron Rodgers is that. Yeah. But I think there are some other, when you talk about Russell Wilson, that's the guy that I take as comparable as where I see him going, right? As far as, the team that he played with, the kind of pressure that he was under, and now having the defense that we think that he has right now backing him up. And so Dan Quinn in this situation and not having an over-glorified bus driver, but I think that Dak, in all of our experience of seeing him ball out and do these great things, it's really hard for me to receive that now all of a sudden he ain't what we have seen this whole time.
And again, Dak is a really good player. Really good players go in droughts. You hope
that they've been using slump.
Yeah, slump, droughts, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the reality is he's not playing good. It doesn't take anything away from it. I'm not hating on Dak. I'm sure there are plenty of Cowboys haters.
Yeah, there's
and
a
Dak
lot of
haters.
people that are.
A lot of people hate that. I mean, you can't prevent that. But the reality is, over this last 4 to 6 game stretch, he hasn't played well, and we don't know the exact reason. We just see the result of whatever it is that's causing him to not play well. We see him not stepping up into those pockets that are present, right, and delivering the ball like he has in the past. We see him not throwing the ball as efficiently and as effectively as he has in the past. Everything that you can compare is always going to be in relation to what we've seen him do previously. And this is not Dak ball right now. And luckily, this defense is playing lights out right now, which is giving them an opportunity to be successful holistically as a team.
And what makes this? Sorry, Heck, go ahead.
No.
What makes this so confusing to me is they talk about maybe he needs more time on task with his receivers and that kind of thing. He missed all training camp until like the last week, and then he balled out and they hung 29 on the Bucks.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that.
Nope.
And I don't think you can say he's hurt.
Nope.
I don't think you can say that. I haven't heard that. He's not on the injury report. The league watches out for that stuff anyway. That means there is nothing that's keeping him limited to do anything in practice. Now, is he mindful of, hey, this is a long season. Maybe I shouldn't take this chance. Coming off that horrific injury last year and coming off the fact that now he's about 6 weeks removed from that calf strain. Maybe he's mindful of that. That doesn't mean he's scared. He's trying to get through this season. And maybe that's not why he's running as much. I think that might be a factor too. All of it's just kind of speculation because we don't know exactly what he just doesn't, like you're right. He looks out of sync. Yeah. Doesn't look like he's got as much confidence back there. And
I just don't like when people try to take the responsibility off of players, whether it's Dak or anybody else. Right? This is the highest level of competition in this sport. The highest. These are the best players in the world. Right? And yes, you're entitled to a bad game. You're entitled to not being on top of your game. You want to get out of that as fast as possible, but you have to be able to identify the fact that, hey, and call a spade a spade. You're not doing well. Let's figure out how to fix it. And I feel like with Dak and even some of the other players in the league of that status, people like to find excuses. People like to put their finger and say, no, it's not that, it's this. Or, he hasn't had this protection, or he hasn't had the receivers. Or, even Mr. Jones last week called him out and say, we know it's the receivers not running the route. No, it's Dak. It's Dak. And it's okay to say, hey, Dak, you need to figure it out. Just like people get on Zeke. People got on Zeke last year with the fumbles. People were quick to point out, hey, he's fumbling. Zeke's not Zeke no more. Like, why is it that you can point out Zeke that he's not on his game, but when it comes to Dak, we make excuses?
No, I don't think that I'm making an excuse for Dak. I just think that for the sample size that we've had for 2021 season, we've seen this run that he's been on and the offense firing on all cylinders. We see exactly how this thing works when he has his full complement.
Yep.
Now we're noticing this musical chairs of sorts at the offensive line position, and I think that has a little bit more to do with it than we're giving credit to. That's all I'm saying. And I say punch drunk, and maybe I'm not the wrong word, when you're getting touched too much, when your timing isn't there, when you recognize that I got to get this ball out a little bit quicker than I would have before because I don't have the time, or you don't trust the timing in game.
So I hear that, and I think there is some truth to that. When you put him in a conversation with the other quarterbacks that we consider to be great in this league, do we utilize that as an excuse, or do those guys find a way?
If Tom Brady is getting beat to hell, then we can't expect for him to pull out the mojo.
Aaron Rodgers.
What about Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
Patrick Mahomes. That was one game.
That's fair.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That
was one
carried over into the middle of the season this year.
Those guys had 5 new offensive linemen.
You just made an excuse for Patrick Mahomes.
5 new offensive linemen. We're talking about attack. No, we're talking about 5 guys. We're talking about the position on this field, the group on this field that needs to be the most in sync. 5 guys versus we're talking about 1 guy.
How is that different from what the Cowboys are doing?
1 versus 5.
Yeah,
it's a huge difference.
One.
We've had one guy out at a time. We've had a tackle,
left guard,
one at a time though, right? One left guard gone,
different right tackle,
one tackle gone. It's never been.
Tackle.
We've never had more than 2 offensive linemen missing at one time.
Yeah, it's been musical.
So that's what I'm saying. We want to make that comparison. That's when we're talking about 5 dudes now.
No, and I feel you. And I guess where I'm going with this,
he had a whole training camp with those guys too. Though.
When we were talking about Mahomes, your thing was, man, he's Patrick Mahomes. He gonna get back on track. Not making two of this, comparing Dak to Patrick Mahomes, but you had faith in Patrick Mahomes based off of what you've seen him do in the past, that he could get back on track. Do you feel the same way about that?
I don't have the evidence to show. I do believe that Dak's going to get back on track, but I don't have this long-standing resume of Dak going into a slump and coming out of a slump. I don't have that. This is the first time we've seen that. So yeah, I have a question mark around, but I still believe that Dak is just in a slump. All quarterbacks get there. All quarterbacks have them. It's just like golfers. You go into a slump. Baseball players, right? You love baseball. You go into a slump as a hitter. It's like, oh man, he's tripping right now for this 3 weeks. But once he gets that one hit, boom, he's out of it. There's nothing, to Rob's point, there's nothing that's pointing to evidence-wise that's saying Dak's injured or Dak is unable to do something. He's just not playing well.
Were you ever in that position at Washington? And if you were, what was your approach to getting out of a slump, if that's what we want to call it?
I studied my butt off. To be able to identify it. I met with a quarterback last night. Figure out what you're doing wrong. What are you doing wrong? Is it my drop? Am I getting lazy with my feet? Right? What do my feet look like when I'm delivering the ball? Is it my elbow? Is it my release point? Right? Am I shifting my weight? Like there's so many intricate portions to being a quarterback and delivering the ball with accuracy. Even when you have a completion, you should still be picking apart your film. Am I putting it on the right shoulder? Am I putting it low? What's your name? Had a great ball last night. Matthew Stafford threw a great ball to Cooper Kupp, low and away, right? I mean, that was perfect. That's how you go back and watch. That's the ball that you got to have down there in the red zone, down there on the goal line. You have to put it right there. If you would put it anywhere else, it's an incompletion. So that's even on your completions, you need to be going back and figuring out how can I be better. And I'm not saying that Dak's not. We don't know what the heck they're doing on the other side of the building. But I do know that as a competitor, he is probably picking apart his film right now, trying to figure out where is the missing link because he knows he's not where he wants to be and where this team needs him to be.
I don't doubt that either because
Yeah.
nobody works harder than Dak.
I don't doubt it. Yep.
That right now.
And that's one of the reasons why I think Cowboys Nation, much like how Heckma was alluding to earlier, you can't give up on Dak right now. You know he's going to get back to some point playing the football, playing that Dak ball that Isaiah was talking about earlier as well. All right, taking our first break. When we come back, 888-855-2297. Give Talkin Cowboys a call. Let's hear from Cowboys Nation right after the break.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Varilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call. And teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with...
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with...
United Ag and Turf, the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done...
Get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
And then, let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Yeah. It's a great people, great pay replay here on Talkin Cowboys. You've heard it already that Jason Witten, big number 82, Big Wit, has joined the Caliber Collision team. You can join him to do great work with great people for great pay and apply right now.
He can't pull it out.
Jobs at Caliber.com. That's jobs at Caliber.com.
Hold that in front of
so light and so light and airy.
Streamlined.
For side by side profile right there for the fellas.
Oh, goodness.
Now turn the other.
No, turn the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Turn it side.
Ice cream side and wedge.
Go get that bread and your wallet.
Oh, gosh.
Can look just like Rob Phillips.
That's Tommy Davis in this. All
right.
Actually funny.
Tommy Davis. 5, 6, 7.
Great conversation in that first
ladies man.
First segment.
No, this is Joanna Man.
Okay, there we go.
I don't get that reference.
Too young, Kyle.
I wish I did. Let's talk about some more Cowboys. How does Cowboys Nation feel right now? Positive, negative. Bob from Nashville is the first one up. Bob, how's it going? You're on Talkin Cowboys.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
What's up, B.O.B.?
Hey, love Dak. As Isaiah said, you go through these little times where you're up and down. But a couple things, my observation after rewatching a bunch of the games, I think some teams are pre-snap or in one coverage, and then just as the ball snapped, they're changing coverages, which I think is maybe confusing Dak. They're also playing two safeties back, which is taking away any aggressive throws, which requires Dak to maybe throw the ball short. And I think the other thing is Kellen Moore needs to maybe call some plays where we get some receivers doing some crossing routes, get them to our playmakers, and let them make some plays. That'll take some of the pressure off of Dak and allow him to maybe get back into a rhythm. I just wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on those two things. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, great points, Bob. I'm kind of go down the line in terms of what I heard you say. In terms of the two high safeties and his ability to throw the ball quickly, as of 2 weeks ago, Dak, I don't know where he stands today. Dak was in, I think, top 3 in the league in terms of completion percentage and short yardage, passes. So that shouldn't be an issue. In terms of what was the other point? In terms of being able to get the ball in the hands of his playmakers, I do agree that Kellen Moore needs to find a way to run more screens. I think he needs to go dive into the playbook of Bieniemy and figure out exactly how he's getting his guys the ball in their hands within 5 yards. They do a great job of running screens so many different ways. Getting CD the ball, get Coop the ball, get these guys the ball in their hands, and that will allow him to build his confidence. But to your point, he's in a slump. But it's up to a lot of people. He has to do a deep dive. Kellen Moore has to figure out too, right? And they have to be on one accord in terms of, hey, this is where you're at right now, and this is how we're going to help try to get you out this hole.
What do defenses do to slow down screens? What's the best way to slow down a screen from a defensive standpoint?
You got to attack it.
It's being aggressive, right? Putting pressure up front, making him get the ball out of his hands. That's exactly what these teams that Dak Prescott hasn't played well against have done, right?
Yeah, and I think he makes a valid point talking about the cover 2, and that's the thing that a lot of teams would not do versus Dallas because they fear the running game so much, right? And so now the teams are kind of like, oh, we don't have to worry about Zeke, and they're daring Dak to kind of beat them over the top. That's what Jack Del Rio did in this game. I'm not. What you're not gonna do is beat us deep. What we're gonna force you to do is try and find out everything in the middle of the field. Couldn't get that done, And so Dalton Schultz, I think, is really somebody that we got to put. Where is Dalton? Because we hadn't seen him.
Are you saying that they're going too high safety they're going too high safety not only because they don't respect our running game, but also you're saying that they're daring Zeke to be more accurate with the ball? They don't think that he's as accurate as he once was?
Dak?
Yeah.
Dak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're saying that we're not going to let you get those big plays to Lamar. We're going to take the big play away.
Yeah, but by saying that, right? You're saying I'm taking away the big play and I'm taking away you say I'm not respecting your run. I'm saying that I don't trust that you can pick me apart. That's what that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not interpreting that way. If that's disrespectful.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the defense are doing, right?
No, that's disrespectful. Yeah. And if that's the case, then Dak has to find, and maybe that's why he's pressing because he's like, I can't believe you have the audacity to have two safeties.
He's never experienced this,
and leaving the middle of the field wide open, and that's where he got caught in the pick six.
This is the first time in his career, and you could probably back this up, Rob, that he hasn't had a efficient running game.
I mean, probably to this extent. Yeah. I think last year when Zeke was banged up and they didn't have Zach Martin for a stretch, it was tough in there. But the decline they've had there is wow. And you guys are right. Like the shell coverage that they played is a little bit different than I think what we've seen recently, because when teams were doing that early in the season, they were running them over in the run game. And I was telling you guys in the break, I know it's kind of a stat, okay, it's flimsy, but there was a 4-game stretch starting with the Chargers game where they were dominant in the run game, 160-plus yards per game. Dak's passer rating in that stretch was like 120 average.
143 against Philadelphia, 130 against Carolina.
I actually started with the Charger game.
Okay, so even going back, I was like 89, 88 for passer rating, 116 against the Giants, but you get it.
Yeah, because the New England game, they had 120 yards, but they didn't run it that well. They didn't run it that well. So those 4 games starting with the Chargers, he was very, very efficient. The other games this season, 9 games, it's like a 79 passer rating. He needs that balance. I think every quarterback does. And again, it might sound like excuses, but I think that's what Jerry's talking about on the Fan Today, and Heck's kind of alluding to it too. I think Jerry said it's a multifaceted reason why it's got to work. And I know Dak's making $40 million a year, but they've got to shore up some other things on offense to help him out as well.
Yeah.
And he's got to play better too, and he's admitted that. It is obvious watching he's not playing as well as he's capable.
That's what I love about him, though. I respect the crap out of him for standing up and not making any excuses. Everybody else is making excuses for Dak. Dak's not making excuses for Dak.
Yeah, he's saying he's got to be better.
Yep, love it.
Yeah. Great call from Bob. And by the way, Chris pointed it out in my ears. I don't know if he was in y'all's ears either, but Bob sounds strikingly similar to Doug Nussmeier. Just go back and listen to it if you get a chance. Just like the raspy voice. I love it. Bob from Nashville, great job. All right, now let's see if we can follow it up with a little bit of the land of enchantment. Landon from New Mexico. You're on Talkin Cowboys.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's up? Good.
I've been listening to Talkin Cowboys since 2006, way back in the day. So, love the show. Love all the shows on DallasCowboys.com.
Awesome.
Real quick, though, a couple of points about the Dak situation. From what I see, it looks like he's overthinking things. And I think it's, a while ago, Rob said something about, this is all speculation, right? And then, and Isaiah said that it could be confidence. I think it's a confidence thing because of the offensive line. I think that because we had the musical chairs with the offensive line, it's gotten into his head a little bit. And we've heard Dak say in his press conferences, he's thinking, he thinks about when to run and when not to run. It looks like he's doing that, not just when to run and when not to run, but when to throw the ball and when not to throw the ball. Aaron Rodgers and those guys, they know where to go with the ball before the ball is snapped. So them guys, that's why they're able to handle when their offensive line isn't doing good. But I think since Dak has the confidence thing going on too, because he had so much shaky offensive line play, now he's pressed in a little bit and he's overthinking things. That interception that he threw on the Dalton Schultz pass, Dalton Schultz was open and he at first, and then he pump faked it instead of throwing the ball. If he would have threw the ball then it would have been completed. So that's what I think about the Dak situation. And the running game is a big factor. We need to get this running game fixed, and I don't know how we're going to do it because the offensive line is in shambles and the running backs are hurt, and I don't know what we're going to do about this.
Well, thank you very much, Landon, for the call, and thank you for your support of all the shows here on DallasCowboys.com. But what do you think about that, Heckma? Could it be in Dak's head, or is it just as simple as what he said toward the end, as it's just this offense is one-dimensional at the moment?
No, and I look, I partially agree with some of that. I just feel as though some defenses have made adjustments.
Yeah.
They know what, if you get enough tape on a guy, it's like when the guy comes in his first year, you have no idea what he and who he is as a quarterback. Second year, everybody knows the throws that he's comfortable with. And I think defenses have done the same thing to Dak this season. They know exactly where Gallimore is trying to set him up to be successful early in games. And I just go back to one drive in that Washington game where I believe it started with Dak tripping over the feet of the center and trying to hand the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott. It was a hole that was massive. They missed on that. But then he comes right back and he throws, and it was an interception. It just seems like the rhythm of the offense, if that has anything to do with it, I just felt like that was the one time that I watched the offense where I was like, these guys are just out of rhythm with one another.
Yeah, and who knows if it's confidence. He's about as confident a guy you'll ever meet. He's just not in sync, and that's what's showing on the field. They're just not in sync. But to his point, and I agree with Heck, but to his point, that last throw, he had Schultz open, and he was a tick late. So what's he seeing? What's he processing? Because I think that's been his biggest jump as a quarterback, has been his ability to just balls out. He knows where he wants to get to the ball with the ball. But if they could run the ball better, they wouldn't have had to make that play, and they would have been able to ice the game. That's been their calling card, and they have not been able to get back to it. And he's right. We'll see if Tony Pollard can get back in the lineup this week. Zeke's banged up; he's fighting through it.
Yeah.
Offensive line, maybe they make a change somewhere at left guard. They got to get something going in the run game. Got to.
The reality is, when you're not playing to the level that you expect yourself to play, that you know that you're capable of playing, and things have gone wrong. Right, he's had 5 interceptions in the last 4 games, or whatever. No, 6. Sorry, am my math right? 5 in the last 4 games. You start questioning. You question. You have a question mark over your head, and you start second guessing and hesitating on decisions that you would have instinctively made. That's the reality when you're not confident in your play. Now, I'm not saying that you're not confident in terms of your capabilities, but capabilities and what actually shows up on the field that day is 2 separate things. So, being that Dak has tried, I'm sure he's trying his best. 58 rating, 79, 106, 57. That's the last 4. I'm sure he's questioning some things that he's doing. Like what he's trying to figure it out. Yeah. And when you're trying to figure it out, you're going to try to make sure that you are exact. You're going to try to make sure that you are as precise as possible to make sure that you're not making those mistakes that you have made previously. So I think that's probably where he's at right now. I don't think it's a lack of confidence. I just think that he's trying to be so exact to make sure that he doesn't make mistakes that you actually end up making mistakes when you do that.
Stat man, yeah, that's me.
I'll be like y'all, man, when I grow up, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, like, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions over the last 4 games. It's not Dak Ball. It's not Dak Ball. All right, Lance from Wyoming. Lance, you're on Talkin Cowboys. What's up, my man?
Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
Look, I listen to all the shows that comes on daily.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to stop making excuses for Dak. Dak's the problem. I'm sorry. I mean, when he demands $40 million a year to be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, we as fans expect him to perform, regardless what the problem is. You guys are using the excuse that our offensive line is the problem. When he was healthy, we had offensive line problems, but he found a way of getting around it and throwing the ball very, I won't say accurate because he's never been an accurate throwing quarterback, but you guys need to stop, including Jerry Jones and the staff. Y'all need to stop making the excuses for Dak. There's something wrong with Dak. Mm-hmm. There's something mentally wrong with Dak. It ain't the physical thing. There's something wrong in his head. You don't stand there and see a lineman come up on you. I mean, a linebacker come up on you and get in line to the throw that you get ready to throw it anyway, and get it intercepted. Please, guys, stop making excuses for Dak. Dak gets $40 million. I don't give a thing if he's got to run into a building. He needs to get his mindset, and the coaching staff needs to stop doing what they're doing. They need to be the coaches. They need to take Zeke out the game, period, because Zeke is killing us too. But don't blame the offensive line because it's all Dak.
Lance.
The reason why we're saying that as a nation, sir, we're paying that man $40 million.
Yeah.
I don't care if he got to run into a wall. Get up and do it again for $40 million.
Lance, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate you as always and all your support. And if there's anything that we stand for on this show, it is saying it with your chest.
He just did that.
And he absolutely did it.
That was a chesty call.
Are we related?
Yes, sir. You guys stop making excuses.
I like it.
I did too.
I don't agree 100% with everything, but I mean, I'm probably about 80 percentile with you right there. I'm not one to, and I mean, my wife calls me unempathetic on a lot of things. But one thing I do is I do a deep dive on myself. If I suck at something, or if I don't have a good showing, right? We've done, how many shows have we done together, Kyle? We did film room. Kyle tells me film rooms, other sets that we're on. Hey, you could do this a little better. Thank you. Thanks for telling me. Because I need to be better. I want to be the best that I can be. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to pick it apart. I'm going to get coaching, and I'm going to figure out how I can come back and address that problem so that we can be better. I can be better individually, which helps us all be better collectively as a team. I'm not one to make excuses. I am not. So, again, I do agree. Some of the it's not even just the delivery. It's some of the decisions. Some of the decisions. And it's not just Dak. I know we're picking on Dak because he's the QB1. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that.
Well, and there's a big paycheck that comes with it,
and there's a big paycheck that comes with it.
What he was talking about.
But there are a lot, to his point, there are guys who just say, there's roster bubble guys. If they make one mistake, you're out of here. You're out of here. There is no excuses made for you, right? You don't get an excuse. Because guess what? You don't get that leverage. You don't have that financial leverage to make a mistake. But as soon as guys get big boy paychecks, right, Dak or anybody else in this league, there's grace given. There's a lot of grace given. Instead of getting on them the same way, there's a lot of grace given, with, i.e., excuses. And I'm with you on that in that regard. Anybody, Dak, Zeke, I don't care who it is on this roster, right? Everybody should be getting coached to the same level and have the same expectations. Meaning that sometimes you got to dig out, you got to get on somebody's head. And I'm not saying that I don't know if they do or not, but I'm just saying.
I said yesterday that there's not as many. You can't use the same excuses you used a few weeks ago. He's got his receivers back. All that. I will say with the caller, I agree with a lot of what he said. It was a great call. We're not saying the offensive line is the problem. It's a problem. Right?
Yes.
They're not playing as well as they need to play. This is a team game. This is the ultimate team game. He can't do it all by himself. He's got to be better, obviously. But there's other factors that are making his job probably more difficult than he need to be. And he's not playing well on top of it.
Correct.
Well, that's my quarterback, and I'm going to defend him. And, I feel like we're not making excuses for Dak. We've seen Dak ball. And so I'm not going to take anybody's word as saying, oh, he's broken and we shouldn't have given him that money. No. I understand that comes with the territory. Once you get the check, everybody now has the opportunity to say what you are and what you never were. But he's not an average quarterback in this league. And for everybody, we won Sunday. We won.
Did
we're
we?
Not, yeah. We won. We're 9-4. Yeah. You understand? And so there are teams out there that have marginal quarterbacks with good defenses that hope to ride that momentum into the Super Bowl. We ain't one of them because we got a guy that we have enough evidence to show that this man is a gamer and he's a baller.
And I want to talk more on that when we come back after the break, because that's a great point, but it might be about the expectations that are on the table. Maybe they're too high. When we come back here on Talkin' Cowboys.
Talking about that.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Whether you're watching from home or you're cheering in the stands with Essilor lenses, you can see every exciting play.
You break it, you buy it.
At your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more. Essilor on Talkin' Cowboys. Final segment, wrapping things up here on a Talkin' Tuesday show. I've got a quick Essilor story for you.
What you got there, sir?
So I love my Essilor lenses.
I love mine.
They are the best glasses I've ever had, and I take care of these glasses more so than any other pair of glasses I've ever had in my life. The other day, I was getting out of my truck, and I just accidentally kind of turned the wrong way, and they fell off onto the concrete, and they landed straight on the lenses, straight on the concrete, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
No, you said curse word.
Oh yeah, it was a little bit more than you got to be kidding. I look down and I pick it up, it's almost like when you drop your phone, you pick it up, and
it's jacked up.
You think it's going to get shattered. I expected to have a big scratch right over the front of my glasses.
Not these.
Perfect. Not even like they've been touched.
You know why? You know
Pretty impressive.
Because it's Essilor.
Because it's Essilor lenses.
See more. Do more. Essilor.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, that's my quick Essilor story. So that's not just because they're a great sponsor of ours and we love Essilor. That is a real-life great experience. Product. So go check them out. All right, we're wrapping things up. We've had a great conversation with Dak and about Dak and what's going on over the last month or so of the season. We did win the game. Heckma Harrison.
Thank you.
There's a game this week.
There is a game this week. New York Giants on the docket. I think the biggest frustration, this will be the final kind of talking point that we have. I think the biggest frustration for Cowboys fans right now isn't the fact that you're 9-4 and you're winning the division. None of that should matter at the moment because you feel good about where this team is. I think the frustration is where you want this team to go.
Oh, vision.
I think it's where you want the expectations to be, because in the past, the expectation is that if you have a middle-of-the-road defense and the offense is what they're expected to be, you feel really good about your chances come playoff time. Mm-hmm. That's not the case right now. Mm-hmm. The defense is exceptional.
Ooh, ascending.
The defense is continuing to peak, and now the offense is lagging. Mm-hmm. But you feel like there's opportunity there. So do you agree, disagree? Is it more about the expectation of where this team needs to go as opposed to the 9-4 record of where they're at right now?
You know, being that he's the only guy that's ever received the Lombardi trophy, I think he knows that the Lombardi always gets delivered in February. Mm-hmm. It never gets delivered in December. Nope. So we still have everything to play for, and everything is in front of us. Good. And so you talk about doing shows with Kyle and Kyle critiquing what you do and you having to come back and be better. Everybody knows that Dak can come back and be better. Better. He's had to overachieve his whole career, from being picked in the 4th round to now being the crown prince as a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He will be better.
What do you think?
I think you're right. I think we're watching the game last night. Cardinals, Rams rise up and win that game.
Whoa.
This has a chance to be the most stacked NFC playoffs I've seen since the 90s. I don't know. So, yeah, I think that's a huge viewpoint from the fan base of not only like we've seen what they can do, what they're capable of. Let's get back to that. What it's going to take to get through the NFC playoffs, because it's limitless the number of really good teams that they could run into in January. So they have to get better. They do. Now, look, Kyler Murray threw 2 picks last night.
Hello.
Hasn't been the same quarterback. As good, still good, not as great as before the injury. This is what happens. Teams make adjustments. They've got a month to figure it out and get their things righted before playoff time, because they're inching closer and closer to clinching the division.
Touche.
It's all you need to talk about. All right, that does it for us here on Talkin' Cowboys. Thanks to all of our fan callers and Cowboys Nation for chiming in. Tomorrow we preview the Giants offense versus the Cowboys defense. How does that turn out for the Cowboys? I think it looks pretty good for the Bazooka. Micah Parsons, for Chris Beam, Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow on Talkin' Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?